Hello, I hope with all my heart that you are having the most outstanding day and you are ready for what we are about to jump into today. Now, first and foremost, I know that we have a whole bunch of open tabs in terms of albums that we've started that we need to finish and new bands that we've just started, dipping our feet into that we need to continue on. But before hopping off of the Beatles train that we just boarded, I thought this was a great opportunity to dive deeper into the mind and magic of the music of John Lennon with his Double Fantasy album. At number 1, we have Starting Over, or more precisely, we have parentheses just like Starting Over.
We have grown, take a chance and fly away somewhere.
That needs to be examined and just appreciated for a good moment because we had two very opposing natures at play here. The nature of the acousticness that was going on with just the solo instrument paired with a vocal that was comparable to that of an a cappella, which basically means without any instrumental backing, which isn't exactly the case because we do have that guitar there. And we had that intro with that little bell, which was the most perfect way to start off an entire album. I was about to say a song, but this kicks off this whole Double Fantasy experience, which is just mind-blowing. But then we have the intricacy of the direction of the melodies, both in the chords, how we had some very unique and distinctive choices. Felt like we had some spice thrown in with augmented chord, which we've gone over in the past, which is just one more brightness level above major, just to sum it up shortly. And we also had really interesting movement that was very wild and adventurous with the vocal as well. I just think John Lennon has honed the ability to marry complexity and simplicity and create his own space that he exists in. Wait, am I wrong for having heard a similarity in this?
Do you hear it too, or am I crazy?
One thing's definitely certain. This song totally encapsulates this shoo up feeling that's perfectly displayed in Grease, like that old-timey romantic rock that's just so golden and warm.
Your story's sad to tell. No graduation day for you. The sky to high school. Take a trip somewhere far, far away. Too long to pick up the time.
In regards to the vocals as a whole, like every single vocal that's going on, the lead vocals and the backing vocals are executed and delivered so exquisitely. I really, really enjoy them. Mainly the backing vocals, because I feel like it's just something that we don't get nowadays in modern music, and not something I was expecting off of track 1 on this album that I'm just so pleasantly surprised by. song that was so appropriately titled, Starting Over. It felt as though it were drenched in nostalgia, in 60s glamour and all that vibe. It got very futuristic sounding at the end. That whole warped sound and very electronic sci-fi feel out of nowhere, and it was executed so beautifully and seamlessly. Even though it was quite abrupt, it also wasn't hiccupy, and there was no disconnect. There was like no awkward tension pause. It just kind of enveloped the sound as if it were a piece of candy and the candy just got twisted at the end. And then the way it resumed, I thought it was done at that point, and then it, it kept going just to end 3 seconds later, but still every second of this song was pure magic and joy. At number 2, we have Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. Okay, so I was quite stunned by that huge switch up. Like, this song could not be more different in every single way. First of all, we have Yoko Ono as the lead vocal, which is a very pleasant change up, right? To have a more feminine touch. Every place where the last song was complex, this song turned it on its head and simplified it. And what I refer to by that is just the chord direction. Like, this is more of a teeter-totter back and forth between two chords.
Up and back and up and back.
But every place that was simple in the last song has just gone haywire in this song. Like, the production level is going crazy. We're seeing a whole different face of rock. This feels like a little bit more hard rock, whereas the other one was like the beginning stages of rock and roll. This is more like bam in your face. It's striking. If there's one thing John Lennon is not gonna do, it's pigeonhole and typecast himself in a musical sense. He's going to explore every range that's available to him, and he's going to excel at it, of course. I think this song serves as perfect evidence that you can have a very fast-tempoed and upbeat song and have it still sound eerie and ominous. Alice in Wonderland, just everything flipped on its head, everything kind of whimsical and not as it seems, a little bit circusy. At number 3, we have Cleanup Time, probably from the mess and chaos. That was number 2, of course in a good way.
Bubble, bubble. Moonlight on the wall, sunlight on the face. We are in a place.
I love this so much already. Like, this is definitely way more my lane, my speed. I feel like we have some fusion of a little bit of a jazzy, bluesy moment, a little bit of laid backness, and yet that bombastic presence of the volume and the dynamics in the guitars and the electricity that's brought forth. So having that blend is very tasty. And the poetry already.
Sunlight.
Moonlight on the water, sunlight on my face. I hope I got that right. But that was just so beautiful. That struck a chord with me because I love when lyrics just kind of give me that little fuzzy tingle inside.
We cast the perfect spells. The rats of all the magic shit. I'm a perfect harmony.
So clever. Again, the wordplay, perfect harmony, while we have some wild and epic harmonies going on. Little applause. But the main reason I wanted to pause was to focus and highlight on the different instrumental lines and how they're playing with one another. The different guitars are just, they're stunning and amazing and compelling. And the drum beat, I can't focus on anything other than that. Every time I get just sucked into it, and I have to remind myself to, focus on the vocal and focus on everything else, because it's really just where my attention is being drawn to. It's captivating.
How it begins. Clean up time.
Oh! The horns are just so smooth, just so good. It's a good time. It feels good. It feels like eating a spoonful of honey. This was just one of those songs that make me feel like there is no way that the musicians didn't just have a blast performing this, either live or recording it in the studio. Whenever they get to play this, this is a treat, not only for the listeners and audience, but for them getting to perform it and enjoy the music that they're playing, especially the bass, because that just hooked me on another level. That definitely paired up with the percussion and drove the point home. Número 4, Give Me Something. Mire, ya casi se me iba a olvidar del número 4. Giving very she's a maniac kind of a feel, and I ride for that. My heart exists in the land of that genre of song.
It's just exciting and thrilling, and it makes you feel like getting up and running or jumping up and down.
At first, I was a little bit skeptical as to where it was going to go with Yoko's little ad-libs, which tend to skew in a different direction, I've learned. That was quite a bit to wrap my mind around. We had that tempo switch up there too, where everything just slowed down and warped. Very intense. I feel like that intensity was held up throughout the end. Once the vocal was incorporated, I got a better sense of what was going on, and at the same time got thrown off a little bit. So there's just a lot of duality going on, as there has been throughout this whole album, starting off at track 1. But this one really drove it home. This one was like the king of confusion so far, but I'm really appreciating these Yoko moments. Are they my favorite? It's too soon to tell, but for right now, no. But I'm glad that they exist because they provide some perspective, and it's really interesting to have this very different take on John Lennon's material. Feels like we're exploring different nooks and crannies of music, different eras, different decades, different genres. At first I thought it was gonna be the many faces of rock, but it's not limited to just that, because this feels a little more like 80s. I mentioned that it feels like maniac, she's a maniac. It also reminds me a little bit of Don't You Want Me song. It feels like it exists in that vein. Like I could add this to that playlist that actually exists that I have. I can add this song to that. It'll be a little bit of a hiccup moment for sure. Like I don't think it'll run seamlessly, but it could exist with the rest of them and maybe add some new spice to that list. Number 5, I'm Losing You. Okay, so it has that biting chill of the minor presence, but there's some intrigue here, and I know that that's intentional. It's like captivating, very storytelling-like nature. Okay, the thing that's hooking me into this song so much are those little walk downs as transitional devices between the phrases, and the way that he's ending them and wrapping up these measures. Let me know if this is something that you like too, because so far, this might be my favorite song. Might be. I mean, we haven't heard everything yet, so it's way too soon to say, for sure. But I really like where we're at right now. The vocal support and stamina to execute that towards the end of the song, already over 2 minutes, almost 2.5 minutes into the song, and to be able to perform that blows my mind. The decision to allow the song to disassemble and fall apart as chaotically as it did in the end was just so perfectly clever and ingenious because of the way that the music was presented and executed throughout the whole thing. I was going to comment on this even without that having been included, even before this was something that I was aware of, but I was going to say how smoothly all of the instrumentation and all the elements just integrated into one another. It felt like there was no sense of competition. Even with the vocal to instrument ratio, felt like everything was in perfect harmony. The way that it blended together like a smooth, delicious caramel. It has the right amount of saltiness and the right amount of sweetness. And then that was just definitely confirmed by the way that it all fell apart, because it was being held together so perfect and divinely, just so that it can crumble at the end, just to highlight on how perfectly seamed together it was, or maybe to allude to the fact that maybe it was just a big illusion, and at the end our bubble was bursted back into the reality of how chaotic our world is, or how chaotic our world seems when we lose someone. Number 6, and second to last, we have I'm Moving On. I'm gonna make a prediction. Just off of hearing that very experimental, I think that's a proper use of that word, intro, dissonant clashing sounds, and interesting textured elements. I'm guessing this is gonna be Yoko vocal. And I'm also going off of a pattern I think I'm picking up on. I think it goes John, Yoko. And I could be wrong about that. And if I am, then I just embarrassed myself, and I'm gonna leave this in there regardless.
Because sometimes I'm wrong about things.
This has to be my very favorite Yoko moment. I love the drama and theatricality that it seems that she's established in her sound, at least in this side that I've gotten to pick up on. And I feel like it's performed and it's perfected in this song. Her gift and talent is always a stone, but it needs to shine in the right light. And I think that this song displays it well. I like the walk downs. There's one moment, there's a transition that just blew my mind. I have to go back to it. That was just so good. I love it. Where she says, I want the truth and nothing more. That chord drop off was just unexpected, and I appreciate it. So with these lyrics, I feel like that whole sense of duality and this juxtaposition that has been present and apparent throughout this album so far is definitely reinforced right there. She's saying when you were angry, you had love in your voice. And I think that's so true. I don't think that's just something outrageous to say. I think that that's true 90% of the time. Like, we get the most angry at the ones that we love because we get to that place with the people that we love because they see a side of us, or at least we allow ourselves to reveal a side of us that we don't to the general public. I'm blown away by her ability to have held that note on forever. Feels like in some universe it's still going on. The only thing that brings me back to reality about the fact that it ends is the way that it ended with those sounds. I mean, so be it. If she has to do it, she's got to do what she's got to do. At least she was able to sustain that for so long. Definitely a blessed skill that she has for sure. She's gifted. Add so much dynamite to the dynamic that's going on. At number 7, and last but hopefully not least, we have Beautiful Boy. And if we're going off of the theory that I proposed in the last song, I'm guessing this should be a John Lennon vocal. I'm a sucker for full circle moments. Like, I love a good paradox. I love a good story that ends where it begins. And I like that tie-in to how this whole album was introduced with that pinging sound. It was a very great callback.
Close your eyes. Master's gone. He's on the run. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Say a little prayer. Getting better and better.
It's getting better and better. Is that a little callback to our Beatles song?
I got to admit, it's getting better, a little better.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful boy. 'Cause it's a long way to go. But in the meantime, take my hand.
I just love how danceable and tropical the percussion sounds. It definitely goes hand in hand with that serenity that was displayed over the beginning of the song in the intro. And it feels like everything that's been trickled in and added in has only emphasized on that point.
While you're busy making other plans before you go to sleep, and better. Beautiful
I love a good moment that focuses and emphasizes on rhythm.
prayer. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Darling, darling, show. See you in the morning.
That was just so beautiful. I couldn't have picked a more perfect way to wrap up the night. At this very moment, I feel that Beautiful Boy is definitely the highlight of the night. Now, my opinions change so much from the beginning of the day to the end of the day with every artist and every album. I always start off with a favorite and it goes evolving and changing. But for right now, I'm really gravitated toward this. I feel so at peace and at ease, which seemed impossible at times with this side so far. There were moments that were chaotic and wild. This was way different from what I expected. To be fair, I didn't even have any expectations going into this at all, so that's why I don't feel let down in any way. I'm just pleasantly surprised by everything I heard. I feel like a forever student in the teachings of Mr. John Lennon and all of his greatness. Thank you so very much for joining me in today's new little adventure. I always have so much fun taking on and embarking on these journeys with you guys, and in the spirit of all things Thanksgiving, and as some people like to celebrate Friendsgiving, I would like to share my gratitude for you guys. I always try to incorporate it in some way because I think about it often, about how dear you guys are to me and to my heart, and how you guys really have set up this whole operation. And this is just such a blessing in my life, you know, at times where you really do need to count your blessings and you need to look at the things that you're grateful for. This is one of the things I count 20 times. It's this thing that we share together, and it's a community, and it's a family, and it's a friendship, and it's a means of learning new things. A lot of things you guys already know, so you share with me, and we just share experiences together. And I am also grateful for the times that you guys share stories about your actual life experiences and how this music has impacted you on the first times you've listened to it, which is a parallel to what's happening being here with my first listens. This specific Thanksgiving of 2023, I want to dedicate my extreme and fullest amount of gratitude with every fiber of my being and every inch of space that I occupy and take up in this world. I send all that energy and love towards you, all the love that I can conjure up in my body. I am shooting your way to our super thanks heroes. You guys are just the most incredible human beings, and you deserve to have the most warm and wonderful and cozy and exciting holiday ever. Thank you dearly and full-heartedly to Richard Olsen, Paul Edwards, Marissa Martinez, Jerry Manas, Sweetish Jeff, Ed Myers, Bob Charles, and Scott Ernst. You guys have made a huge impact on my life and continue to every single day. So thank you guys so much. If you're watching this video, it's because of you guys. So thank you. I love you. I speak on behalf of the entire internet. We love you. Richard, Paul, Marissa, and Jerry, Jeff, Bob, and Scott. My gratitude for you is all that I got. I thank you. So when you gather around the table this year, you recall all of your fears and your gratitudes. Count on the fact that I'm thankful for you. Thank you. Cover you in my love and pray on stars above to keep you warm and keep you safe and sound. Thank you. I love you guys with all of my heart. I hope that you have an extraordinary meal. I hope that you enjoy, whether you celebrate or don't. If you don't, I hope that this is just another amazing week and that the festivities don't bother you and they're not too loud. If you do celebrate, well, I hope that you have a full plate. Hopefully we have a quick turnaround, so keep your eyes open for our next video coming out to you hopefully soon. I love ya, take care, and take it easy.